Hi, welcome to eoLIFE Education. My name is Rosie Grimmert, and myself and other eoLIFE experts, we come here to teach you all about how to use doTERRA's essential oils and doTERRA products. It's our mission that you don't ever have an essential oil or a doTERRA product that you don't know how to use. Hey, if this is your first time here, be sure and subscribe, hit that bell, because then every time that we put something up for you, you'll get notified. And of course, we love it if you would like this video too. We do our very best to answer every single question, and we love hearing in the comments about what's working for you. So hey, let's get learning here on eoLIFE Education. Super excited to share with you guys Stacy Cahill, her brilliance. She will tell you more about her own story, but honestly, if there's anyone that would be more prepared to teach on this topic, I think it has to be Stacy. This is something that's part of her own story, and she has literally helped hundreds of other people to know how to manage this. So super excited to turn the time over to Stacy and for her to help you guys with this continuing ed class number 8 that's all on using essential oils and pain. Okay, Stacy, I'm gonna stop the share and turn it over to you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Rosie. Well, while we are switching screen shares here, I just want to welcome everybody and thank you for joining us tonight. I know that there are some seasoned people who know a lot about oils, and there are some brand new people just checking it out for the first time tonight. And I want you to know that we're so glad you're here. No matter where you're at, we have something for you. This evening, we are diving into pain, and one of the cornerstones of pain, of course, is inflammation. So we're going to talk a lot about that as well. I will just give you a little precursor here. Why is this not wanting to show? Sorry. When we're talking about pain and inflammation, I always want to make sure that our listeners know that we are going to come from a place of talking about structure and function and talking about what we want to experience more of and what our bodies are capable of doing. We're going to leave talking about diseases and the mishaps that happen to your body. We're going to leave that to doctors and the medical professionals to talk about. So when you hear me say things like occasional discomfort or swelling or things like that, it's just because I am not a medical professional. So I'm going to stay in the structure function where I know how to get more out of what I want from my body. And that doesn't mean that it's some secret code. It just means that we're going to talk about it in a slightly different way to make sure that there's no confusion as to where we start. So tonight, essential oils and pain, this is, like Rosie said, a huge part of my story. Many of you have heard me talk about how I came through doTERRA and got involved because of my daughter and her respiratory issues. But what I don't talk about as often is what my own story was, what my journey was, and how I got here. You know, when I was just a teenager, I had a lot of problem with my joints. I was having to go in and they were draining them with big syringes, taking fluid out of my joints. And I was told probably when I was 15 or 16 that I would need knee replacement surgery before I was 30. Well, I'm quite a ways past 30 and I still have my knees, and not only do I have them, but they have improved so much in the last decade. You know, I first noticed that there was a problem when my family was avid campers. They'd go hiking and everybody would tease Stacy because I just wanted to stay back at the cabin, or I want to stay at the tent, and they wanted to go up for a hike. And I'm like, I'll just hold down the fort down here. You guys have fun. Because I was embarrassed that I couldn't keep up. I was embarrassed that it was a struggle for me to do that because of the constant aching that I felt in my joints. And I lived with that and just kind of hid it from most of the world and hid it from my family because I didn't want to be left out, right? I'm sure those of you who have dealt with pain have felt that before. But it became really prevalent in my life when I had my daughter. You know, I had been a career nanny, meaning I got paid to play with kids and run around with them, climb up and down play structures, sit on the floor. You know, I was constantly active and doing things from the time that started when I was 18 up until I retired because I was doing doTERRA. And I loved that. I loved that I got to go run around at the park. And I noticed, probably about 15 years ago, I was not as active. And I just assumed it was because the kids that I were working with were a little bit older and they didn't need me to be crawling around on the floor. But when I had my own daughter, I realized that it wasn't just the age of the kids. It was that my body was not able to do the things that I wanted to do. I spent years teaching other kids how to climb up ladders and go down fireman poles. And I couldn't do that with my own daughter because I just physically couldn't do it. And it broke my heart, and it made me realize that this was not something that was going to go away on its own, and that I needed to take some serious action. Another thing that I loved doing yoga, and I did yoga all the way through my pregnancy, and it got to a point where that just wasn't an option anymore. Even the simple act of stretching became painful. And then, I had all of these different solutions thrown at me from doctors I was seeing and options that I could have. And luckily, I grew up in a home where our primary care physician was a chiropractor. And our first line of defense was always nutrition and supplements. So I was able to avoid a lot of the pitfalls that many people fall into when they are dealing with that ongoing life-disrupting sort of pain. And for me, it became an issue of finding solutions, figuring out what I could do next, and really diving into what I wanted to feel more of. So this pain kind of changed and altered. I'll get into a little bit more later, but I've started to find a lot of relief for my joints. They were no longer an issue. And about the time I got that under control, I started having autoimmune disease issues, which come with its own batch of inflammation and pain. And at that same time, I decided it'd be a really good timing to get a stress fracture in a lower vertebrae. So I have dealt with the gamut of pain in so many different areas, from injury to chronic to ongoing. And there hasn't been a type of pain that I have not found relief with natural solutions. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. And we're going to go into specific types. But for those of you that are listening, I think it's really important that we get started by really being honest with ourselves. Looking at a scale of where your pain is, because if we don't measure where we're at, it's really hard to know when we start seeing the benefits. And if you don't start finding the benefits and realizing and acknowledging that you are reclaiming your life, it can really affect the emotions. And you can really start losing hope, feeling like, I am never going to feel well again. I'm never going to go hiking again. But little by little, when you track where you're at and how you're feeling, whether it's daily, whether it's weekly, monthly, but keep a track of where you're at and how you're feeling so that you can see the progress that you're making. And for people like me, who I still track this, not because I don't believe that I'm going to find relief, but because sometimes I am using so many different products and I'm doing so many different things and I'm feeling fantastic. So naturally, I quit doing it all. Right? That's what you do. I'm like, I'm feeling great. Oh, I don't need that anymore. I'm feeling really good. Let me tell you, one of the first things that I did when I started with doTERRA was to try this Lifelong Vitality Pack. And this is doTERRA's supplement line. And I'm not a supplement girl. I took a few things in the, like my mom said, did all of that. But I never noticed a real difference until I started taking the Lifelong Vitality Pack. And I started with that in the midst of trying to help my daughter with her respiratory stuff. I started being involved with doTERRA. And when I made the decision that I wanted to represent doTERRA and I wanted to share the journey that I was on, and I wanted to let other people know about the amazing power of doTERRA essential oils, I could not in good conscience step into this company and start promoting it until I tried their number one product, which happens to be the Lifelong Vitality Pack. So in my skeptical little brain, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this. It's a 30-day thing, money back guarantee. It's not gonna be that big of a deal. I'll do it for 30 days and I have an honest way to tell my customers and the people that I work with that I've taken it and what I noticed. I had no idea, and I'm a little thick-headed sometimes, I will admit that. I had no idea what differences it was making. And so I took it for 30 days. And I noticed within a couple of weeks that my joint pain was not really an issue. I was actually back out at the park playing with my daughter. And of course, like any stubborn person, At the end of the 30 days, I didn't reorder it because there's no way the vitamins could have been doing that, right? It's not the vitamins. It was just, I was feeling better for the first time in 25 years. Well, I have a very wise sister, not only because she's my older sister, but because she also knows doTERRA and she knows me and she calls it like it is. And she called me out and said, you know what? I call BS on you. It was the vitamins. You know it. And I'm like, no, it's not. I'll prove it to you. I'm going to order another pack and I'm not going to have the same results. Well, I ordered another pack and I had the same results. And now it's critical to my health that I don't skip them, because within this trio of all of the vitamins and minerals that you need, we also have the supplement with the essential fatty acids that naturally help to reduce inflammation and to help your body with oxidative stress and to really manage all of those components that give a foundation of support to your body. And then we also have the Alpha CRS, which is the third supplement in this pack that is all about bringing down inflammation and helping your body and giving you cellular support. So this foundational piece is something that I can't talk about this topic without stressing the importance of setting up a solid foundation, because you can do all of the stuff that you want with diet and with exercise and rest. But if you still don't give your body the building blocks that it needs to be able to build off of, you're going to fall short. And we have amazing oils, and we're going to talk about specific oils that are great. But if you don't have that foundational support, it's just like putting a Band-Aid on it. And the oils will help, but you won't get to see the full benefit of them as if you were to balance them with that. So how does the Lifelong Vitality Pack support? Well, when we're looking at chronic pain, we're going to help because it's going to help with that oxidative stress. It's going to help you get to balance out your immune system, and that inflammatory response is a critical part of your immune system. It's also going to help by supporting your bone health, giving you healthy joints. Emotionally, it helps with brain clarity, and you don't live in a brain fog, which is so important when you're dealing with mental strain or stress or emotional pain. The omega-3s in the Lifelong Vitality Pack are so important for digestive support and cognitive support. This is just critical in helping all of the different areas. We want that lipid oxidation and the supporting the healthy function of the brain, your eyes, your nervous system. We are not just little parts of a body. We are a whole body, and we are meant to work together. So what's happening in your brain is going to affect the emotions in your heart. What's happening in your joints is going to affect how your muscles work. What's happening in your muscles affects your skeletal system. And if we try to break it all apart and only, put an oil on one aspect, we're missing the boat on how important it is to work as a whole body system. So then the last piece, the Lifelong Vitality Pack, is going to help those occasional pains that come along, because it gives you that foundation that I was talking about with those vital minerals, the vitamins that keep your body at peak performance. It's just an optimal nutritional system, and it is so great because it allows your body to recover from everything that comes its way, and it's ready for that. We talk about being prepared for emergencies. Right now we're talking about being prepared for viruses. Let me tell you, your body needs to be prepared all the time, because you never know when something's going to come your way and you're going to have an injury or you're going to have an illness come along. And if you support your body foundationally through good, healthy habits and lifestyle, when those things come along, you are better equipped to recover faster, to bounce back, and to grasp what's happening in a way that you can make a powerful and impactful recovery. Now, one of the things that I love with doTERRA is that we can use the oils in a lot of different ways. This is a system called the Symphony of the Cells that Boyd Truman, one of the doTERRA leaders, developed many years ago. And this technique is an oil application. This is where you put, usually it's between 7 to 12 different oils along the spine. And you can see on his card here, there's little symbols, whether you're applying it topically, you're putting it on the back, on the feet, are you smelling it? This particular blend is one that is a critical part in my personal upkeep. And it's not difficult. The Symphony of the Cells, at first I was like, there's no way I can do this. I can't do it to myself. How am I supposed to lay down and put all these oils on my back? Well, let me tell you. First of all, if you are single, you're alone, you can totally do this. It is not rocket science. Take the frankincense oil, put it in your hand, smell it because, you know, smelling frankincense never hurts. And then rub it on your back. Get as far down this way. Reach up your spine. Get it where you can. And just do that, working your way through the different oils. If you have someone in your home that is able to help you, I actually taught my daughter how to do this for me. So when I have an autoimmune flare-up or when things are getting out of whack, I don't have to wait until I'm immobile and I can't move. I simply say, hey, tonight you're oiling me up, and I lay on my bed. She dumps oils all over my back. She rubs it in, and it's amazing the difference that you feel just within a couple of hours, let alone doing this consistently once a week, twice a week. And it's amazing. Now, if you are doing the Symphony of the Cells, obviously it's a lot of oils that you're taking in. So if you are brand new to oils, you might hold off on this for a little while. Or if you want to try it, there's no harm in doing it, but your body might go through a little detox. It might kind of go like, whoa, what is all this goodness? And you might sleep really, really well. You might be really thirsty. There's nothing to be afraid of on that, but I just want you to be aware that if you aren't using essential oils on a regular basis, you want to start off small so your body can adjust to what it is that you're doing and process, and not trigger, you know, a negative reaction that your body is just overwhelmed. Because like anything, it'll just get overwhelmed, going, this is too much, I don't know how to process it. And when you're dealing with ongoing pain, especially, you don't want to do anything that's going to trigger anything to disrupt your body in that way. So take it easy, and do the little things first, and then visit the Symphony of the Cells. So tonight we're going to go into 5 different categories of pain. We're going to talk about joint pain, muscle pain, emotional pain, digestive pain, and head tension or migraine. We're going to go through each of these in a little bit of detail, and from there we will learn about a lot of different products. But I would love for you to grab a piece of paper and a pencil, because as we're going through this, there might be things that come up that you have a question about, and I want to answer those at the end. There might be things that you're like, oh, I really need to get this product, or oh, she has mentioned this product in every single area. I probably need to talk to the person who I get oils with and find out more about this. In fact, if you are interested and you already know that you have rated yourself on the pain scale, go ahead and send a text to the person that's working with you with the essential oils and just let them know, hey, I'm listening to the pain class tonight with Stacy, and I want to follow up with you, next week or tomorrow, because there's a few things that I might want to order. That way they can be in the loop and they can help you remember which products it is that you are interested in. So the first thing we're going to talk about, of course, is where my story started, joint pain. And you'll notice that every one of these slides has the Lifelong Vitality Pack. I've already told you how important it is. I've already told you why I love it and the experience I've had with it. But just know, when you are dealing with any of this, when you're dealing with any of the pain, start with that foundational piece. And then when you're looking at joint pain, we're going to look at products that are going to help to manage that inflammatory response. Many of us have heard through all sorts of medical doctors and news sources and TV talk shows on doctors the value of turmeric. And we've tried turmeric tea, and we've had turmeric powder. We even had turmeric oil with doTERRA a couple years ago. Well, let me tell you, those are all amazing. Do your turmeric, but you'll not find the same kind of benefit from turmeric or turmeric, depending on how you want to pronounce it, as from these duo caps. The turmeric duo chamber capsule is the coolest in science, and I'm going to try not to geek out on you tonight, because I'm sure not everybody cares about how a product is made. But let me tell you how magical it is when you have had turmeric powder, and you know that it takes a lot of turmeric powder to get the benefit that you want from it. And then you start smelling like it, and you start sweating turmeric, and it's not necessarily the most pleasant smell in your house. It's good for a while. Or you start using the turmeric oil, and you're getting the benefits of the turmeric oil, but it's not really one of my favorite flavor oils either. So sometimes putting a drop under my tongue is a little bit rough. Now, the other cool thing is that the turmeric oil and the turmeric powder contain different aspects of the plant that are both really important, that are both really great at helping to manage that inflammatory response. So naturally, doTERRA put them together. Now, what happens when you mix oil and powder? Nothing good. They separate. They don't work. They're not cohesive. So we have a duo chamber capsule that actually found a way to change the molecular structure where both the powder and the oil are bioavailable to your body, put into one capsule. So you get all of the benefit of that whole turmeric plant in one capsule. And these are amazing. These have definitely become a regular part of my routine, and I take them twice a day, morning and night, with my Lifelong Vitality Pack. The next one are the Deep Blue products, and many of you have heard or seen the Deep Blue rub. This is commonly known as a muscle rub, and it's, you know, you put it on when your muscles are sore, which is fantastic. But I'm going to encourage that if you are dealing with pain, don't just put it on when your muscles are sore. Put it on consistently, as though it's going to make a difference in preventing you having to use it all the time. When I use Deep Blue rub, I put it on almost every morning. When I first started using it, I would put it on anytime I would put my hands on my knees and my knees were hotter than my hands. I put Deep Blue rub on because I knew that my body was trying to tell me something. And for a while, that meant that I was putting Deep Blue on either the rub or the Deep Blue oil, probably, you know, every hour, every 2 hours, and I'd put that on. Now I put it on once a day. My joints are happy now; they're healthy. I don't use it as often, but in that Deep Blue rub, you have frankincense, which is like the king of all oils and is going to be amazing anytime you're talking about trying to balance out and help create a healthy inflammatory response. Frankincense should be part of that conversation. It also has heliochrysum, which heliochrysum is an oil that is amazing for trauma and supporting cell function and restorative. So obviously, if your joints are warm and they're saying, hey, pay attention to me, let's help them to restore a little bit and add some heliochrysum and some frankincense and the osmanthus and wintergreen, because wintergreen is amazing when it comes to pain. So I love the Deep Blue rub, and I love that, first of all, you don't need a lot. This is not a rub where you want to squeeze a handful on and lather. I promise, if your whole back hurts, you don't need to lather your whole back. Put a little bit, you know, dime size, nickel size, lather the most important areas that are bothering you, but that relief will spread through your whole body. The other thing is the Deep Blue polyphenols. This is another great support, part of our supplementation line that is critical in that healthy inflammatory response. The last thing that I want to say about joint pain and Deep Blue, put it in the bathtub. I know, for those of you who are like, Deep Blue, tingly, I don't know. I promise, put it in the bathtub with a little Epsom salts, just a couple of drops, and make sure you mix it with the Epsom salt so that it's not floating on the top. Slip into a hot bath and just soak for 20-30 minutes. You are going to feel all of that discomfort literally melt away. It is amazing. And to kick it up a notch, I sometimes will add marjoram, because marjoram is really great for muscles as well, or like the Siberian fir. You know, there's a couple different oils. You can play around with it. But Deep Blue oil, not the rub, Deep Blue oil, Epsom salts in a hot bath, soak. It's amazing. You're not going to regret it. I promise there won't be any tingly weird parts as long as you get it emulsified in something before you hop in the water. So muscle pain. I told you, marjoram, muscles, you know, the people on my team that I work with on oils always know that when I'm talking marjoram, most of the time I'm talking about muscles because it is such a beautiful oil. And that is one that I would use topically for muscle aches or discomfort. It is not one that has to be diluted. However, there's never any harm in diluting oil. So if you have sensitive skin or you're unsure about whether or not you want to dilute it, go ahead and dilute it. It's not going to hurt. Sometimes that means you put a drop of we use fractionated coconut oil in our house, a coconut oil in our hand, and a drop of the oil, rub it together, and then apply it. The other technique that I use often is a layering technique. Well, I'll put the essential oil, drip it directly on the sore muscle, and then put the coconut oil or carrier oil over it. It just helps drive that essential oil deeper in and get a deeper relief. You'll also notice for muscle pain, Deep Blue rub is right back there, Lifelong Vitality Pack, of course, and the turmeric. But we also introduced a product called Copaiba or Copaiba. Copaiba is amazing. This is an essential oil, and you can get it in the essential oil form or in the soft gel form. If you are dealing with something that's just an occasional thing or an injury that just happened, you might just get away with using the oil and using it topically. But if you're dealing with something that's ongoing, the soft gel is just a really convenient way to get the benefit of the Copaiba. Many people have asked about using CBD oil or how to use that. And I don't know. I'm not someone who's done a lot with CBD oil because I've had the Copaiba oil. And Copaiba, it's not at all from the same plant, but it works on the body system of your endocannabinoid system in the same manner. It works with those receptor sites. So you get a lot of the same benefit, but without any of the side effects. And so the Copaiba is one that I started using actually when I was first diagnosed with my autoimmune issues. I was at doTERRA's convention and my legs were swelling up like balloons. And if you've ever been to convention, you know there's a lot of people, there's a lot of walking. We're in Utah and elevation, and literally I was wearing Birkenstocks with everything because I could adjust how wide they went with how fat my feet were getting. It was ridiculous and embarrassing. And Copaiba was announced that year. And let me tell you, I have never been so excited about an oil because as soon as they started talking about it, I was like, well, I should try that. That might help. I literally opened my box of products that first day, opened the Copaiba. I'm like, what do I have to lose? And because I trust doTERRA and I love what they're doing, I did a couple drops under my tongue and a couple drops on each foot when I got back from lunch. 2 hours later, when the session was ready for a break, I could walk. I had to tighten my Birkenstocks. Like, it was amazing. This oil does so many amazing things to help with that inflammatory response, to just bring relief and to help your body work the way it was created to work. So I think this is a powerhouse. It would definitely be in my top 5 products that you need in your house if you are dealing with pain on any level. And I might tell you the other 4, but it's hard to narrow them down, but that is definitely one of them. The next thing we're talking about is that emotional pain. Now, I could do an entire class talking about how to use the oils to support your emotions. But when it comes to emotional pain, I tend to think more of that high level of stress, high level of anxiety, where it's really disrupting your life. Not just feelings of sadness or loneliness that come and go throughout the day, but really that deep emotional pain, whether it's because of those types of ongoing feelings or whether it's because you have, you know, some diagnosis, whether it's because you have, you know, other stress going on, trauma, it's real. And that emotional pain triggers physical pain. When we try to pretend that we can just ignore how we feel because how we feel isn't real, that's a whole other ball of wax. When you are feeling things and you're not dealing with it, it manifests in your body in physical ways that we don't want to encourage. So let's get to the root of it. And this is one of the things, you know, I talk about this and we can apply this to any type of pain and any type of discomfort that you're having. When you are looking at getting started with essential oils, or how do you use your essential oils? What do we do? The first question I always would encourage you to ask is, what do I want to feel more of? When we're talking about joint pain or muscle pain, you might be wanting to feel more flexibility. You might be wanting to feel more mobility. You know, you're realizing that joints are stiff and sore and that inflammatory response is bogging you down. When we know what we want to feel more of, it's easier to match up to the oils that are going to bring that about, rather than trying to be a detective and understand all of the oil chemistry and go, oh, well, I need marjoram because this, If you're new and you don't know that, let's look at what you want to feel more of. And the emotional aspect of the oils is probably the easiest way to put this into practice. You know, we have a ton of different information. We have a whole class just on emotions, where if you're someone who is really angry a lot and you want to feel more joy, then you pull out this elevation oil. This elevation oil is the joyful blend. It's uplifting, it's energizing, and it's not just because it smells good and it lifts your spirits, but there is an essential oil in there. I mean, there's a lot of great oils in there, but in that blend, there's Melissa oil, Melissa oil is one of the most precious oils that doTERRA has. And it's also a very expensive oil, but it is amazing at what it can do to help bring you up, to bring uplifting, to help soothe the brain and balance out your brain chemistry. And when we're talking about doing things like that, it's not an accident that this oil is so uplifting, and it's the joyful blend because it has powerful oils like Melissa in it. We also have the amazing adaptive trio, and this is probably the biggest game changer that I have seen come to doTERRA for our customers at large. This isn't not just a product that some people should use. This is a product that most people will get incredible benefit from, because most of us struggle from stress. We have feelings of anxiousness. We have a hard time adapting or adjusting, especially right now when the world is changing so quickly and so many people are stuck with so many questions. Having the adaptive oils, whether it's in the oil bottle so you can put it in your diffuser, or whether it's the roller bottle so you can put it on topically and use it as your perfume, you're going to notice a huge shift in your ability to cope and your ability to handle all that is being thrown at you. The adaptive system also has a soft gel that takes the blend of the oil along with some amazing herbs, and it is powerful. It is a combination that for those people who are really struggling and have that deep-rooted emotional pain that they are dealing with and trying to overcome, I would start there. We have a lot of oils. Every oil has an emotional relationship to it. That's just the nature of nature, right? So we could look and pinpoint different oils for very specific feelings or emotions that you want to feel more of or less of. But to start with one, I would highly recommend this adaptive trio, because it really just helps to set a solid grounding. It's what I like to think of as the lifelong vitality pack for your emotional well-being. It is the foundational piece that really holds it together, gives you what you need, supports your brain, helps to balance all of that brain chemistry. And from there, you have a solid foundation where you can add other oils to bring in more joy or bring in more courage or whatever it is that you're looking for. And when we're talking about using the oils for emotional pain, I can't stress the importance enough of having a diffuser. This is one of the places where using the oils aromatically is so powerful. Most of the other pains that we're talking about, you can use the oils aromatically, but you're going to get more benefit by putting them on topically or using them internally. But when it comes to emotions, really diving into the diffuser and letting them work through your brain. When you are smelling an essential oil, it goes right through your nose past your amygdala, which is a little piece of your brain that is like the trauma center. It holds on to emotions. It's that little piece of your brain that reminds you of your grandma every time you smell bread baking, or you can just smell something in nature and it brings you back to a memory, because that piece of your brain equates smells with memories, and we want to be able to activate that in a positive way. So using the essential oils aromatically is not just because it smells good, and because it smells good it makes us feel good. You can believe that. It's simple, it's easy, I love it. But if you want to get into the science, there's a whole lot that goes on in your brain when you're smelling things and how it changes the chemistry. You can nerd out on that for a long time, but we don't have that much time tonight, so we're going to keep moving on. But if you want to nerd out, stick around. We'll talk about it later. We also are going to talk about digestive pain. Now, unfortunately, we live in a society where it is hard to go through a day without knowing somebody that is dealing with digestive issues. Now, there's a lot of reasons we could speculate why our digestive systems are screaming for help. But the reality is that most people have digestive issues that we need to address. And the digestive pain can look like bloating. It could look like gas. It could look like irritation in your intestines or in your stomach. And we have a whole family of products that can help with that. Again, start with the Lifelong Vitality Pack. You need your foundation. And then throw in your Terrazyme. Terrazyme is part of our digestive package, and that is a digestive enzyme. It is no secret that our bodies are no longer getting the nutrients that we need. We're not able to get that often from our diets. And the Terrazyme is a digestive enzyme that's going to help your body to break down and utilize the food that you are eating to get the most nutrients out of it. So if you are, you know, whether you're eating a great diet or it's a lot of processed food, you still can use the benefit of a digestive enzyme to break it down so it doesn't get stuck. Because food that gets stuck in your body or your stomach isn't able to break it down starts to rot in your body, and nothing good ever comes from something rotting, right? Let alone rotting in your body. So maybe that's a little not scientific, but it's pretty accurate. So we want to make sure that we're using our digestive enzymes, breaking down the food so it can keep moving, so it can come in, give us the nutrients it needs, and then it can exit, and we're done with it. We also want to add the PB Assist because we need a good probiotic. We need to keep our gut flora happy if we want to keep our brains happy. We want to keep our stomach happy and be able to actually eat the food and get the nutrients we need. And that all happens by having a good balance of good flora, good bacteria. doTERRA's PB Assist is amazing. Kind of like the turmeric capsule, they just outdo themselves with the science. And so in the PB Assist, it's a double encapsulated system where there's actually a prebiotic on the outside. So it gives that to your stomach so your stomach doesn't get jealous, and then the rest of it goes into your intestines where you need it to actually get the good bacteria in your lower gut. And it's shelf stable, which is super important because a lot of the probiotics you buy, by the time you get them home or get them into your body, half of the good bacteria is already dead because they weren't taken care of on the shelf, and it's a mess. Just stick with the PB Assist. We have the DigestZen oil. This is the oil that can be used topically. It can also be used just putting a drop under your tongue or in your water. It is fantastic to relieve all of those digestive upsets very quickly. I love using the DigestZen both topically and internally. If I have anything going on, any discomfort, I'll put a drop right on my tummy or sometimes right in my belly button, and then I do a drop under my tongue. Usually within 5 minutes, whatever was bothering me has moved on and is done. If it's not, go ahead and do it again because you can use the oils consistently like that to get the relief that you need. And this is something that if you have people that you know or you are someone who deals with ongoing digestive pain, go ahead and use your DigestZen, you know, every time your stomach is feeling uncomfortable. It's not going to overdo it, but at least in the day, make sure you're doing it with each meal. So you're giving your body the support that it needs as you're going to eat. Now the Tamer blend is considered in the kids line, but it's for adults too. But it's a little bit gentler on the stomach and it works in a slightly different way than the DigestZen. In our house, we noticed that the Tamer really, my daughter loves it because she doesn't like the taste of DigestZen because it has the black licorice. And the Tamer she can use on her tummy, and it's not quite as tingly with the DigestZen has peppermint, whereas the Tamer I think has spearmint. So it's not quite as tingly. But again, a great essential oil support for topical use. And then we have the peppermint encapsulated soft gels. This is another great one to help with relief of upset stomach and digestive issues, especially for those people who their guts are really irritable. Doing a peppermint soft gel before or after their meal will be very, very supportive. And lastly, we come to head tension and migraines. This is the area that, first of all, these are 4 products that I absolutely love. They would be my first 4 go-to, but I think it's important to remember when you're dealing with head tension or migraines to really sleuth out what the root is of it. Is it hormone related? Is it because you're not drinking enough water or because you were exposed to some environmental toxin or threat that just irritated you? Because depending on what is causing that head tension will kind of vary which oil you want to grab. I know that past tense for me has been a game changer, but I love how quickly it works. I had lived in apartments for many years and I was on the bottom floor and my friend lived up on the 3rd floor. And she had severe migraines and they would hit her, and when they hit, they would come on quick. I remember one night she was going to come downstairs and hang out with me after we got the kids to bed, and 15 minutes later I got a call from her husband saying she can't come down, she has a migraine, you know, she's not going to make it down the stairs. And I was like, does she need this oil? And he's like, sure. So he ran down, he got it, brought it back up to her. She literally rolled it on her neck. And by the time he could walk it back downstairs to me, she was texting me saying, I don't know what that was, but my migraine is gone. I'm like, that fast, like 5 minutes. Now, it depends. Results will be different for everybody, but the power is there in that the way that the oils work and work with your body so quickly, you can find the relief that you need. And if you're dealing with head tension, don't just do it once. Put it on, and if in 5 minutes you're still struggling, put it on again. When I'm doing past tense, I tend to use it right on the top of my neck, kind of where the brainstem neck meet. I love using eucalyptus, and I actually will use eucalyptus right under my nose when I have a headache, or on my forehead, because eucalyptus is going to help open up your sinuses. It's going to help you get a deeper breath. And with those deeper breaths, it helps to open up the air. And sometimes that's all that your body is needing, and to drain out your sinuses. So I love the eucalyptus for that. Frankincense, when I am using that, I will either do it under my tongue or actually on the crown of my head. Just kind of move the hair out of the way and drop a drop or two. And that really is amazing too. Your headaches are all going to be unique to you and how you want to use it. So just know that there's a lot of different oils. There's a lot of different ways that you can use it. Ask the person who is working with you on oils, let them know your specific type of headache, because there might be other products. You know, quite honestly, there are times where the hormonal headaches really just need clary calm, or they need some whisper, and it's going to help to balance out your hormones, which is going to help that headache to relieve itself. There are other times where the headache is all sinus, and I'm going to pull out Digestin, because Digestin, although it's for your digestive system, putting a little bit on your forehead or right on your cheeks where your sinuses are, it's going to help open up your sinuses and help your sinuses drain. And when they drain, that pressure goes away. And so that whole sinus headache goes away. So there's a ton of different ways that we can use these oils. There's a ton of different types of pain that you have. And what we've talked about tonight is just the tip of the iceberg. This is just some of the tools that have worked for the majority of the people. But one thing that I would encourage you, as you're looking at essential oils, and as you're exploring how you're going to integrate them into your daily life to help alleviate the pain that you're dealing with, be patient with yourself and realize that not every oil is going to work for every person. We are all very unique, and our body is very unique. So if you try an oil and it's not the right one, don't give up on the essential oils. Know that that just means that your body needs something different. And the person who introduced you to the oils is dedicated to helping you find the right match. And we can play with the different oils to see what it is that your body needs and to be able to break it down. We have tools, we have resources, we have essential oil books. You know, there's no shortage of information on how to safely and effectively get relief from doTERRA. You just have to be patient and find the right one for you. So that would be what I encourage you to do. And I wanted to end with this slide, because I know that sometimes when you are dealing with pain, you feel like you are living down below the clouds. You can't see the sun. You can't see the top of the mountains. You're just stuck and nothing seems to make a difference. But I promise that with every accomplishment begins with the decision to try. And when you decide to try one of these oils, to try one of these different things, you are going to find relief that you haven't found before. And I'm so excited to hear about that. And when you do, I want you to come back and tell us about it. Because one of the best parts about working with doTERRA and to help people learn how to use essential oils effectively is to hear their stories about what's worked for them. So I'm going to turn the time back over to Rosie, and she's going to tell you how you can get these products or get any other essential oils you're looking for. But in the meantime, thank you for being here. Thank you for being with us. I'm going to scroll through the comments and help answer any questions. I'm sure Rosie was on top of that.
Hey, it's Rosie Grimmer again. Thanks for watching the video. We're so happy to provide things here for you to learn all about using your doTERRA oils and your doTERRA products. Hit subscribe, like the video, and share this with somebody else you know that would love to learn too. See you next time.